have a theory of how you build anything, whether it's building a brand, whether it's building sports, whether it's building a product. And sports to me, or whatever, it's a product. There's an acronym that I use. I call it DAM, Desire, Affinity, Monetization.
Okay.
You have to create a desire for something first.
Yeah.
And when you talk about desire is not just you're putting together a game. There's an art and science to getting people to be interested in something.
Okay.
All these sports we celebrate abroad right now, whether it's like your basketball games or your football games, these things, they didn't just happen organically. There's serious marketing plan that goes behind it for you to create a demand for something. Look at where music is now. It wasn't that way many years ago. A lot of investments, the way the likes of your Arya Style, Burna Boy, or Rema, the way they are, them as a brand, as a product is being positioned to the global market, and the kind of money they are making.
There was a time when it felt like, or as Africans, we would listen to Usher, we would listen to Genuine, and you know, and then now it's Burna Boy makes you proud to be Nigerian, and you know, Wizkid makes you proud.
The guys who were there 15 years did not make that money.
It
was not the same. The demand, and it was like the demand was not there. They literally had to toil the soil to make it possible for the Arya Styles, and the same thing has to happen with sports. It's not going to happen automatically.
It's a few generations.
Exactly, and it has to be intentional investment that's made over a period of time.
Hi guys, you're welcome to Drinks and Mics. As you can guess, Ugodre is still not back. I think he'll be back next week, but yeah, he's still not back. Still holding con. Gonna have a very great show today. I promise you. I really promise you. I think we've had a show before the show started. Two shows. We had one that was highly emotional. I don't understand what's going on in the studio
Not
today.
from me, by the way.
I'm a sensitive guy.
Because when you say emotional, I know what it's like.
I'm a sensitive guy.
Not me.
I'm emotional. I raise my hand up. Very emotional.
So I still have Arnold Dublin Green with us. He's still, he's not missed one single episode since Drinks and Mics started. Ugodre goes around the world to form cabals, goes to Miami and things like that. But Arnold has been steady. He's held the ship steady. Anyways, Arnold Dublin Green is with us in the studio, putting out fires and trying to raise money for Nigeria tomorrow. If you know what tomorrow is, it would have been like a few days. Anyways, ignore what I just said. Ignore what I just said. So we have a few guests with us in the studio. I'm going to start with to my far left, Gbemi Abudu. Now, so she's a person who, and I need to say this, right? You need to understand this. The first day I met her, right? You always are aspirational about life, right? You're hustling. You're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right? Then you meet someone, and then the person is talking about luxury, and you just feel, yeah, this road is far. This road is far. When am I going to get there? She was talking about private jets and Louis Vuitton, and I'm like, Nawasha. By the way, she didn't know I was doing any of this that day we had that conversation many, many years ago. Welcome to the show, Gbemi.
Thank you very much. But what you have to say is, like, I wasn't just talking about private jets and Louis. We're talking about work. I worked there. That's because when you say that, it's like, oh, she's just sitting down talking about private jets. We're talking about work.
Yeah, it was work.
It was that
work.
period.
It was work because I wanted to know more about it. But when you want to ask about something, and you don't know where to start from because you don't know where the entry level of the conversation is. You don't know how to start. But and Gbemi is doing some real fantastic work around, sports and, positioning it for policy and things like that. But I'll let you tell us about yourself, what you do, who you are, and, let the guests get to know you.
Thank you very
That's
much.
that's camera, by the way.
Thank you very much. And it's great to be here. I've heard so many great things about this show, and I'm excited to be here. So tell you about me. The way I describe myself, I say I'm a Nigerian, but I'm a global citizen. I'm someone who, no matter what country I've lived in the world, I can make it home. And that's sort of been my reality. I've had the privilege of working in 4 different continents. And right now in my career, I'm positioned at working in the intersection of commerce and culture, focused on building bridges. And what that means is you're building bridges between Africa, the Middle East, the US, and Asia. So to what Tunji said earlier, I've been fortunate to work in different industries. I've worked in business aviation and private jets. I've worked in the luxury industry. I worked for Louis Vuitton immediately after business school. I've worked in law. I've worked in FMCG. And trying to see what other industry. Oh, tech, by the way. I had my own education technology company. I think that's actually when we met, when I had launched that and I was working on getting that off the ground. And I would say, so worked in multiple industries, and what that has done for me is it's given me a very interesting perspective in the way in which I approach business and the way I approach market entry into different markets and different territory. And I would say most importantly, one of the things that's my pride and joy right now is I have a foundation called BMGA Foundation. I think I was doing that when we met as well, where we have a foundation that's focused on how do you prepare young women for work in the 21st century. And basically what that means is how do you ensure people have the right skills? Your average person has the right hard skills, but in terms of soft skills, which is what separates you from the next person, from emotional intelligence to business etiquette. And it's really creating this program, a 6-month program that gives young women in their final year of uni or 2 years post-uni, giving them the right foundation for the workplace. And I would say I'm proud to say that in the 5 years that we've done this program, we've placed several students full ride scholarship at Cambridge, at Oxford. I just got a message the other day. I got a message a couple of months ago. Another student of mine got into Oxford on a full ride scholarship.
Amazing.
So it really has been, and they work for some of the, Fortune 500 companies around the world. So for me, that's one of the things that makes me excited. That's exciting to me. And I guess finally, I didn't mention I work in sports.
Yes.
I've worked in sports.
You see, that is a huge part of my CV. And so for her to have done all of this, you can imagine.
Then sports, I love sports. I can't talk enough about the importance of sports for the development of any human being. Yeah. And I think to what you were talking about earlier, I'm doing a lot of work now focused on sports diplomacy. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. As we go.
Wow. What a CV.
Welcome.
CV.
Olabode, I do not envy you going after this.
Just say your name. There's an episode of Game of Thrones when this guy goes in front of the queen of the whatever, and then she doesn't and he says, sorry.
To my right, Olabode Afolayo is also with us in the studio. Chartered accountant. I've been told that he will be giving Arnold a run for his money with his thoughts around the capital market, gold, and stuff. So let's get ready for that. But tell us more about yourself. Let's go.
Okay. I'm a small fish.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Anyway, my name is Bode. Call me Bode, Bodex, whatever. I'm a trader. I'm a commodity trader. Before I started trading, I started my career with PwC, Pricewaterhouse, here in Nigeria. I've only worked on one continent.
Stop it.
But I'm fortunate enough, to work with multinational companies. So from PwC, I moved to Standard Chartered. Then I worked in Sarah as well. That's
sorry, which way?
Sarah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I actually met.
You can hear. You can now see where the connection is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's where I met Ugo.
We didn't say anything.
So from there, I started doing some stuff on my own private
market.
Yes, So I help friends, to take care of their money, help them invest in stuff that will help them make
Money
more
bag,
money.
I like this.
And all of that, So just on a private level, it would have been public, but some things happened along the way, and then I just decided to be a sole trader.
Oh, nice.
So I'm a trader.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to go deep into a lot of stuff. There's so many things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about today, but I wanted to get all the things out of the way, right? All the normal stuff, right?
Okay.
Because
What's the normal stuff?
Gbemi and I, show one, because this is part 3 of today's episode. Part 1 of today's show was filled with a lot of conversations around, sports, building industries, building communities, building industry policy around it. But we'll go into that. You can see what I have open on my, the race we have in the US.
Of course, the
We're
E1.
going to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what? You didn't have to.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
don't do that.
You should have said before you showed.
Okay. All right. So, talking about global stuff, let's start with. I don't want to start with the U.S.-China conversation. I just wanted to talk about the fact that Nigeria is no more on the FATF list. That's the Financial Action Task Force list. I cannot tell you how relieved I am. It's first of all, it felt like being on that list. It just kind of felt like they said we're thieves. It just feels like that. I was like, you people are just thieves. I mean, it's so funny, and it's all the things that have happened to us in that time. All the kind of companies that say they're not going to do business with Nigeria. Now we're looking at all the funds, all the proper shops, capital market shops in the US now. We're going to list you on our fund. And I don't know how the fact that we're not. I shouldn't be saying we should be celebrating it, but it's a big deal.
Noise.
It's a big deal.
But even for individual Nigerians and Nigerian businesses wanting to do business abroad, I mean, there are businesses that want to come here that have their own restrictions, and maybe they have to move around internal policies. But even for us wanting to do certain businesses or open certain accounts where there are certain things that you need. There's a whole process called KYC onboarding where know your customer, know your clients. Because we were on the grey list, documentation that you'd have to provide just to open certain accounts with certain businesses, asking for your grandmother's cemetery.
No, seriously.
So there's some brokerages that don't allow Nigerians to trade on them.
Of course, yes. They'll ask for a source of funds. Source of funds should
some
be
just
there,
even
but
just totally blacklist us. You can't trade with them. Yeah.
And that's why it's like just thinking of how much money, to your point of the average Nigerian, how much money you save on compliance costs. Just having that thing, just alone. And I mean, I'll perhaps even what I'm seeing already since that announcement was made, it's really installed investors' confidence in Nigeria in a way that we haven't had in a very long time. Because when it's all said and done, we talk about attracting foreign direct investment into Nigeria. It's not just any, you want high value to get FDI, and high value FDI has to feel very comfortable about whatever environments they come in to do business in. This really helps. This sends a very strong signal globally. So it's exciting.
I think the year was 2014 when this roller coaster kind of started. Then we started to hear we were yanked off this list, we were yanked off that list. Then we finally got on this list. We were taking off lists that we were, but on lists that we were not. And Dele fondly talks about the fact that prior to that period, Nigeria's market saw about $200 million in transactions moving around, and today we barely see, less than 10% of that on a day-to-day basis. And you just see how much we have lost in terms of total wealth as a country. And of course, when we talk about this to the average person on the street, okay, so I hear that on the streets of social media, particularly Instagram and Twitter, they feel I am pro Tinubu.
You're an APC sympathizer.
I don't get it. I'm just glad that we're off this list. And whoever did it, I am just going to say, nice, great job. Because honestly, I don't know how to explain how I feel like I have stolen money when I have to get to a brick wall where they've blacklisted me. Yeah. You know how it feels, as in you're in your room by yourself. Yeah. It's the screen, just you and the screen, and you just realize that you've just been singled out because you're Nigerian.
Yeah. So to ask you a question based on that, so do you believe that this is a result or an outcome of the different economic reforms we've had in the past several years, or you think this was like a targeted campaign that someone worked on based on what you just said?
So the thing is, the world wanted us to do certain things. Okay. And so it was more like, check this list, and you get off.
Okay.
And prior to, we've not had the appetite to do that.
Things. Okay. Yeah.
So we've just basically aligned with global standards to say, okay, we won't allow this happen in our markets. We won't allow this. And they've just basically put us off the list. And if you think how simple it was to get off the list, you kind of wonder why we've not done it so
before now.
Yeah. So now people on Twitter or Instagram now understand.
No, they don't understand.
You're excited. That's why I asked you that question, to give you an opportunity to explain yourself.
You don't want to say someone's been campaigning for this particular thing.
But beyond that, I think some of what the government needs to do to pull in more FDIs, especially, is this issue of foreign rate management, the exchange rate.
Yeah.
Because if I bring in my money, let's say $1 million, and when I brought it in, it was exchanged at $750, and today I've doubled that money, and I want to take it back, take some dividends back, repatriate.
Yeah.
But I have to change at 1.5. It discourages investors.
Absolutely.
So I think that's actually a very huge part of why the FDI start coming in. Yeah.
I think the CBN is aware of that, and they will get to it. Sorry, I'm rushing through topics because I just want us to talk about the meat of today's conversation. Dangote is talking about trying to expand his refinery. And everybody's saying, you too do. I just realized that, there's there's a bit of, and forgive me if I think I'm just in the minority, there's a bit of small thinking in this part of the world.
How so? How?
What's the problem with expanding the refinery?
Okay. I mean, does anyone have a problem with it?
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't.
But it's becoming like a key man risk kind of thing. I think it's.
You're worried for Nigeria.
Yes, if it goes down, then does it mean suddenly?
What do you mean by if it goes down? What do you mean by that?
That it goes down. So he's basically saying we almost protect that now.
I would hope we're taking the necessary steps to protect it. Well, no, but I think to your point, though, the reality is that's why I would like to say I believe that he's built an institution, something that would outlast him. So whether I understand the importance of having someone like him to do the lobbying that he's done and really to always have that visionary that starts an idea. Let's be real. Look at Apple. Apple was started by Steve Jobs. How long ago did Steve Jobs die? Apple continues. I fundamentally believe that based on the way he has structured his organization, it would continue as well. And and I'm glad all of you are saying none of us here have an issue with the expansion of the refinery, because I only see the upside for the country than anything else. So it's I think it's an institution.
I'm surprised. Nobody in this room feels that he's doing too much, because what I saw on the streets of social media was like, this guy, he doesn't want to chill.
But I don't understand. If someone's doing something good, what does too good mean?
Too much, really?
You see the impact it has.
Don't you see this every day? Everybody builds the underdog till he's
He's no longer
underdog
an
is no longer an underdog, and they're like, bring him down. So he's like, okay, they fought with him now that, okay, we all needed petrol.
Yeah.
Now we have too much petrol. We're now like, nah.
Yeah, but I think anyone that has a problem with Dangote needs to really explain why they have a problem with Dangote, and then have a problem with Dangote expanding his business or expanding, doubling or 2x or 3x in the outputs. It's something that I would need to understand what the issue is. I don't even know why this is a problem.
So for someone like me, it's not like I have a problem with him. I don't have any problem with him. He's actually helping us to solve some of our problems.
About FX issue. The
Yeah.
FX issue.
So, but this is the issue. Maybe after this expansion, maybe he might want to cite the next one elsewhere. Because
What do you mean by elsewhere?
He's trying to be
Outside
diplomatic with it
Nigeria
as well.
or what?
no.
Or when you say elsewhere? Okay.
I mean, still within the country.
Okay.
Because if there's an issue at that location,
Okay.
Yeah.
then
Got
it's
it.
like,
Okay, you're trying to diversify the risk of the
Got it.
refinery.
Makes sense.
That's
Makes
just
big.
it for
Because if
someone
you're
like
talking
me.
about him, looking elsewhere, I'm still a bit upset that he has. He's right now in the process of building the biggest fertilizer refinery in Africa, and he's building it in Ethiopia.
Oh.
Now forgive me if I'm pro-Nigerian in this conversation, but I'm like, why are you not building it here?
Yeah, but obviously the headache has gone through.
of course, you can tell what the Ethiopians must have done to be able to make it
Exactly.
easy for him
Yeah.
to be able to build there.
Well,
And it kind of tells us back home that if he finds it easier to build in someone else's country than in our own, then maybe
we need
we
to look
we
inwards.
need to look inwards and really talk to ourselves. But
And I always say, I get excited when I see an African company having the ability to expand to other parts of Africa.
Yeah.
And for me, what that shows is, we talk about how do we trade amongst ourselves within the continent? How do we reduce our reliance on, when I say external capital, I'm talking about external capital outside of Africa. So whenever I see a brand, or I should say a company, being able to expand successfully in other countries in Africa, to me, it's actually a good thing. It's a good thing, and it's a good sign of where the development of the continent is heading to.
Yeah.
So it's like I can see the nationalistic view where it's like, okay, we should have done this at home, right? But at the same time, he has the refinery here, he's doing other things here, but the ability to build other businesses outside of Nigeria to other countries.
Yeah, so I'm 1000% agree with you. So I normally like to think of ourselves or encourage ourselves to be more ambitious than we are. Businessmen and women doing business in Nigeria, just expanding out of Nigeria across the whole continent. I love talking about Arnold Ekpe and what he did with EcoBank a few years ago when he started EcoBank. It was just a couple of countries, and they moved it to up to 40 countries around the continent. I think it's impressive what he did, impressive what Dangote is doing, and all of us businessmen and women, I really think we should be looking to expand across.
Honestly,
get out of the country.
I still say the pictures of that launch was with the government. It wasn't just like Aliko just chilled with one minister. It was with the government. Like they knew this was a big deal, and there was an immediate response from the EU. Putting tariffs on value added fertilizer coming out of Africa. They're like, what does this guy think he's doing? So it's big moves, and we need to be, we need to get him to do more down here. So I wanted to talk about, there are two things that come to mind. So on this show, maybe a few shows ago, we're talking about if Nigeria should bid to host the World Cup. And it was buy, sell, hold. Everybody went against me. I was like, buy, because
No, I said buy.
No, you said sell.
No. I'm for, because I talked about South Africa getting the World Cup and what that did for South Africa, Morocco. Morocco, and that, and what I think is.
Okay.
I think you're trying to throw me under the bus. Yeah, go on, finish the sentence anyway.
All right.
You said sell. You said sell. Sorry, I just have to correct you, but you were saying. So.
My reasoning with it was, if you host the World Cup, you'll be forced to invest in critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
that critical infrastructure will then be multiplier effects for just jobs, development. The kids will be using those sports facilities for years and years to come. Many kinds of things like that.
But have you seen the $1.2 million stadium that we built? There's this X picture going on. I'm not sure if you saw it. I'm sure you saw it. FIFA gave someone $1.2 million and they just cut the grass. Sorry.
Okay, continue. I'm not
touching
that. Continue. I'll let you finish.
Sorry. I couldn't help myself.
He
Sorry.
said cut the grass. Did you finish, please?
Have you seen? You've seen it. I feel like you've seen it.
I'm not listening to you. Did you continue?
Anyway, so it's talking about how investing in critical infrastructure for sports can be a multiplier effect for the country.
Yeah.
Imsola, you do some work, a lot of work actually right now around, positioning sports in the middle of government policy, to be able to look at it from that perspective of don't just look at it as recreation, don't just look at it as commercial, look at it as something you can use to build GDP. We find if you live in the UK, it's now commonplace for you to have your children joining one sports academy. There are many sports academies around. If your child is good enough, he gets a scholarship. There's so many things that come out from just having a proper sports infrastructure. Yeah. I have worried about the fact that Africa and as a microcosm Nigeria isn't looking at sports the right way. And you can tell we do not have up to 5 proper functioning world standard stadiums. Right now there is a rugby tournament happening, I think in the UK or some part of Europe, where a Nigerian female rugby team is participating, and the only reason I know is because I follow one of the players on Instagram, and they completely destroy their first opponents, and I'm like, so something like this is going on in the world tournament. So why do you think we're not looking at sports properly, and what can it do for a country like ours that is trying to build a $1 trillion economy? And
also to add to that, it hurts me when I see Nigerian or African athletes represent other countries.
Okay.
Right. It's so...
This is a loaded question. Loaded question. So first, I hear you in regards to Africa has not really unlocked the potential sports presents to it. However, I think a lot has been done in the past several years and a lot is still being done. I think one of the biggest issues is, and part of the reason why people don't see the result of a lot of the work that has been done is they're quite fragmented and a lot of people are working in silos. And there's a need to have a bit of a collective effort in terms of the development of the sports ecosystem across Africa as a whole. I think first, like you mentioned, and I'm not saying this because I've worked in sports or I'm doing some work in sports. I truly just fundamentally believe that sports really is one of the most powerful tools. I can't stress that enough. And when you look at the SDG goals, there are very few things that actually checks majority of those boxes, right? And we're beginning to recognize it. Maybe it's not moving as fast as we would like it to, because we look at where other developed markets are and how they've been able to capitalize on sports, how they've been able to commercialize sports, and we're not there yet. But it is heading in the right direction. Let's talk about home, for example. Let's start with Nigeria. In 2022 alone, prior to that, sports was seen as just recreational. It's something that you do for fun. I think collectively as a country, we only think about sports when it's time for World Cup or Olympics. But the business of sports and thinking of it that way, sports was reclassified as recreational to a business sector in 2022. And that took a collective effort for a lot of individuals to say, there's an opportunity and this should be treated like an industry, like any other industry. Therefore, that means there should be tax breaks and incentives and things of that nature. So that has happened. Number two, I would say, and really giving credit to the National Sports Commission, the recently formed National Sports Commission headed by Malam Diko and his deputy General Bukola Olakbade, sorry, forgot his name for a second. I give them a lot of credit because of a lot of the reforms that they're introducing. When you look at the federations, for example, one of the key things they're trying to do with all the different federations we have is to standardize it across the board. There's a lot of, and I think even to the question you're asking of why Nigerian athletes run for other countries or play for other countries versus Nigeria, I don't think none of us can pretend, and as somebody who's been a practitioner in the industry, trust has been eroded over the years, right? Because of certain things have not been delivered. And I think to your point, the ecosystem is not as well developed as it should be. You find that anyone who comes into Nigeria, for example, and I think this is it's similar to other countries in Africa, that you end up having to invest in the whole value chain of sports. You have to do everything. Whereas in the US, for example, you're talking about academies in the UK. The clubs don't necessarily have to, they have the academies because they use it for talent development, but they don't have to focus on that, right? They can focus on their moneymaker. Having academy is another extension for them to develop talent and create a pipeline for themselves. But they don't have to if they don't want to, because there are enough people who are running academies in the UK that gives, and you have a very well-structured ecosystem that gives the best of the best the opportunity to rise up. Whereas we don't have that. We don't have our school programs. Some schools have sports. It's compulsory in some schools it's not. It needs to be like part of the national agenda where it's compulsory that every child gets to play sports, right? So you have all those things where, and I would say more importantly too, is going back to this, being able to give tax incentives. There's so much opportunity. From a business standpoint, we're talking about merchandising. There's sports tourism. There are all these different things that can happen. We talk about sports medicine. And the reality is a lot of people don't know about the opportunities that exist in sports. So it's, how do you let people know of the opportunities that exist? And for any businessman who's like, listen, I don't care whether I'm passionate about an industry or not, what's going to make me money? And for them to realize that, you know what, you get a tax break or whatever, some incentive for you to go into this industry, and you find a great avenue for you to be able to generate revenue, just a viable business idea, right? So I'll say it's part of the work that I'm doing right now in terms of how do we develop frameworks where people are you're not reinventing the wheel because it's quite fragmented. That means if a company has existed or others have done something within the sports ecosystem, how can others that come into it just build on that versus having to start from the scratch? When everybody's starting from the scratch, the industry is not moving forward because you're all doing that over and over again.
By the time you get halfway, you're burnt out.
Exactly. Or you've tested something and it did not work. So you're trying to figure out what is the right model for it to work. We're talking, in the first show, we're talking extensively about sports sponsorship, sports marketing. These are, the reality is they're new concept in our markets. Because of where you travel extensively, you think it's something that happens here the way it does in the US or in the UK, but it's a new concept here, right? So it's, how do we, and you know what, from one of the things we're talking about, I'm like, the way the music industry was in the very beginning, where people were struggling to get people to sort of buy into it. I believe that's where sports sort of is as a business, where it would eventually will unlock the market. And you have all the early adopters and those who are coming in and investing to help toil the soil, I would say, so that gives others the opportunity. But there's so much to do, right? And it's not just the government. The government has a role to play, but the private sector has a role to play as well. So it's really there being a framework that enables everyone to sort of work collectively together.
I think so. No, let me. Sorry, I wanted to quickly put this in.
Yeah.
We talked about starting from scratch and everybody going. So there was one race. I'm trying not to put the name of the race. There was a race that happened on water recently.
We already mentioned it earlier.
Continue. So there was a race that happened on water recently.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think bothered me a bit was how much of our lives it had to disrupt for it to happen.
Yeah.
And this was not because it needed to. It's just generally because we didn't have the infrastructure to accommodate that kind of an event.
Yeah.
So because we had to do it somehow, we had to then think of the best way to be able to fit. Now, that event, if it happens regularly in Nigeria, it has a lot of tourism implications. It has advert implications. People would start thinking about, can I become a professional racer in this sport?
Exactly.
You know, all kinds of things, multiply effect in that entire industry. If every year we have to then create a makeshift infrastructure to be able to accommodate this. So think about that. That's just one sport.
Yeah.
So what about if we're going to bring Formula One racing to Nigeria? Or you know,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you a question that's going to go into what I was going to ask.
Okay.
Did you go to the race?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, so it goes to what I'm about to ask. Isn't the issue a demand issue, right? Where I'll ask a bit of a make a controversial statement. Yeah, I'll make a bit of a controversial statement when it comes to men and women football and the amount of men and women for how much they earn. I think is a demand issue, right? And then I come to Nigeria and I say, I've been to football games in our local stadium here, and I've got jerseys because I moved here 2 years ago, Sporting Lagos. I've got jersey. I've attended sporting local events, and there's no one here. No one there, no one attends. And then I speak to what team do you support? Arsenal, Manchester, Chelsea. No one supporting them, but no one even knows the local teams. So from the business perspective, I think the reason there's no money is because there's no interest, and it's a national problem. But
no, I'm actually glad you asked that question. I think that's a very, very good question. I think to answer your question, the first one you mentioned about the E1, we've already talked about that. You know, I give grace when people are doing things for the first time and they're figuring it out and they're learning. And you have to remember when the Access Bank marathon. Remember the first time it happened, where it disrupted everything. Does it disrupt things that much now? No, because you learned from that, right? So I give grace when people are doing things for the first time. There's a lot of learning, so you're going to learn from. You're going to make certain mistakes. It's important. Yes, they brought experts in. Did they have experts that understand how things like that are actually done in Nigeria as well? Maybe you would say maybe, but at the end of the day, it's never happened in Nigeria before. So you can't say that, right?
You can prepare for everything.
You can prepare for everything, but you don't know what you don't. But also, you don't know what you don't know if it's not been done before. So if the same issues you mentioned is happening in year 2, year 3, then it's a different conversation. But for the first time, I always say I cut people slack because it's like, you anticipate the worst, you prepare for the best, but you anticipate the worst, and you're like, you know what? Let's shut everything down because it's like because that's what they think it's required. But I highly doubt. I highly doubt that would be the case if this happens next year or the year after that. So that's one. In terms of building makeshift infrastructure, and I think this is to the point of which it's connected to what he's saying. To building makeshift infrastructure, I thought the E1 thing was a great national branding exercise for Nigeria. You know, for me, I see sports as one of the biggest tools for nation branding.
Look at Rwanda.
Exactly. So I see it as one of the biggest tools for nation branding. I see it as one of the biggest tools to instill national pride, right? And the PR that did for Nigeria, I think that was great because it's one of, your average person will not think that can happen in our waters, right? And
I still don't understand how it happened.
They claimed
I passed that water and I'm like, are you sure this thing happened in this water?
And they had to clean the water because in order for those boats, those of us that go cruising or whatever, you go to the beach, you can see how the weeds or whatever will get caught up in the engine. They couldn't risk for that to happen. So there had to be some cleaning. I wasn't involved in it, but just there are questions that I would ask from individuals who were involved to sort of get a better understanding of how did the boats just go without the engines being clogged, you know, but they did clean. And and there's a green element. It's not my story to tell, but which I know they will talk about it at some point, but there's a green element of saying, how do we, and to me, that's sort of the way I look at stuff like this, where it's, if E1 continues to come here, is that an incentive for the government to continue to keep the waters clean? And they have to do it consistently. To me, that's a win-win for everyone at that point. So that's sort of the way I see that. Then to your question about demand, listen, it's a great great question. And this is one thing I always say. I disagree with you in regards to whether it's men and women's sports, because one gets more investment than another. You can't, and I have a theory of how you build anything, whether it's building a brand, whether it's building sports, whether it's building a product. And sports to me, or whatever, it's a product. There's an acronym that I use. I call it DAM, Desire, Affinity, Monetization.
Okay.
You have to create a desire for something first.
Yeah.
And when you talk about desire is not just you're putting together a game. There's an art and science to getting people to be interested in something.
Okay.
All these sports we celebrate abroad right now, whether it's like your basketball games or your football games, these things, they didn't just happen organically. You know,
there was a proper...
There's serious marketing plan that goes behind it for you to create a demand for something. Right? So for that level of...
I see it.
But the problem is because we're technically starting from zero. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years for you to create that desire. Then it's from that desire, you turn that desire into affinity. Then it's the affinity you monetize. But because of this is such an underdeveloped industry, people are expecting you're going to come in and you're going to monetize immediately. Tell me one business where you monetize the moment it's impossible.
No, it's impossible.
You have to create, so that demand will come from creating a desire. Right? And I always say that where this market is with Nigeria, is we already know where a lot of our consumers are. Meet them where they are. What do they like? How do you include that into your... Then at the end of the day, the reality is, I mean, you were talking about this earlier. We were talking about somebody who worked for La Liga and stuff, and you're saying that. I mean, you can share.
I have this person I met who was marketing La Liga in Nigeria, and you know, just off the back of him telling me that, I kind of just felt, this guy must be rolling in money, like it's La Liga, right? But then I'm thinking, are you sure though? Because I'm seeing like conversations, I'm seeing his ability to try to sponsor things or to try and get himself into media gigs. Because, you know, I just thought, he was awash with cash. But apparently...
There's no budget.
And the reason being is La Liga is a strong brand.
Yeah.
But are they playing here in Nigeria? Are you selling tickets for me to go watch La Liga play here? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you're not. So it's like it's a great brand. The question is going to be, so what? What does that mean for me? When you say you want my money for La Liga, okay, what is that going to do for me here right now? You know,
is Mbappe going to come and play tomorrow?
Exactly. Like, are you packing a stadium and you have 20,000 people and you're telling me that my brand will get the opportunity FaceTime with 20,000 people right there? You're not saying any of that, right? But also it's like, it's that whole the experiential element of sporting events. And that's why I'm like, we have such a long way to go. I mean, you have to start from somewhere. And I truly believe that I hope and I believe that the government is interested. And then when I say government, I can speak for the National Sports Commission. They seem to have the right mind and right thinking to the potential of what sports can be. It's going to take a lot of work. Them alone cannot do it. The private sector. So, and I always use, the reason why I always say music is a perfect example. Look at where music is now. It wasn't that way many years ago. A lot of investments, the way the likes of your Arya Star, Burna Boy or Rema, the way they are, them as a brand, as a product is being positioned to the global market and the kind of money they are making. The guys who were there 15 years did not make that money. It was not the same. The demand, and it was like the demand was not there. They literally had to toil the soil to make it possible for the Arya Stars. And the same thing has to happen with sports. It's not going to happen automatically.
It's a few generations.
Exactly. And it has to be intentional investment that's made over a period of time. If everyone is going to come in and say, you're not going to make that money. The market is too green. And there's work that really needs to be done to sort of create that demand to get consumers to fall in love and say, you know what? Sporting Lagos, national treasure. Exactly. I want to rock. I mean, most people don't know this. Like for the World Cup, how many players from Sporting Lagos were there? People don't know this. They had players there. They are developing talent. And I give people like that credit because, and shout out to Shola for the work that he's doing. I think it's very important to give credit to those who are investing because what he's doing is he's creating talent. And to build talent, it's not one-off. It's not you do one thing here, you have a bunch of people here 1 month or second month. No, it's investment
Continuous
on a daily
investment,
basis where they are playing regularly. That's how they improve, and that's how they become competitive on the global stage. If not, if you don't have that continuous investment, it's like, oh, we do. What do you do? One match here, another match there. It's you're not going to create the best of the best. And one thing I have to say about us, Nigeria, I mean, let's brag about ourselves. Seriously, like, in spite of all these challenges we've had within our sports ecosystem, I still think it's truly amazing to see how we show up on the global stage.
Yeah.
To your point, yes, representing other countries in some instances. And to me, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice because
it's also survival.
Yeah,
I mean,
I really don't judge anybody on that because it comes down to, I mean, I grew up in the US, right? I ran track in high school.
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough to run in college. My younger sister was, right?
Yeah.
You get a scholarship to run track in college.
Yeah.
Then you get the opportunity to qualify for the Olympics or whatever, right? You have very clear, defined path that enables you on an ongoing basis to develop your talent.
Okay.
You don't have that here. Like if you run track you can run track in primary school.
Yeah.
But is it structured where you're doing it everyday practice? Can you run track in secondary school here where you're practicing? I'm not talking about inter-house sports. Inter-house sports is one thing, but I'm talking about ongoing on a regular basis.
The regimentation, everything, even the facilities to be able to run on a constant basis. How many schools have that track?
And that's why I'm saying that there's government one thing, but there's also private sector. Like if we had several, and there are some schools I know of in Nigeria who are where sports is one of their areas of focus. So they invest in infrastructure. We need more schools like that. We need state schools where they deliberately invest in infrastructure. Look at universities. I mean, our universities, there's so much opportunity in terms of sports and university. So if you don't have that clearly defined pathway, are you going to blame somebody to say that, you know what, I want to be somewhere else to do that?
Yeah, of course.
So to me, it's like the work is being done right now. It's like, how do we create that clear pathway that from the moment a child kicks a football as a kid,
you can tell that the child is good.
And you can tell that it's good. There's a straight pathway for him to continue to build, to build his talent to when he can go pro. Or whether it's tennis, whether it's swimming. Like we're talking about across the full gamut. And it's to your point, you're talking about you found about rugby. I said I had a meeting today which was so fascinating. Where someone was telling me how they have a business where they do race carts. And they've been doing race carts, as in dirt bike race carts. They've been doing this in like Ondo and Abeokuta. And I literally just went through their page. I was like, wow, this is fascinating. I did not know that. So there has to be almost like a centralized place where we can all hear about these different sports. Like almost like a one-stop shop hub where it's like, you know, all these amazing things. Going back to the industry is so fragmented. How do you have an approach that sort of brings everyone who's doing incredible things together?
I would say I apologize to Sporting Lagos. I was a paid support. I was a paying supporter.
Oh, okay, paid supporter.
Paid supporter like 2 seasons ago, and I just dropped off. You know, I was going to matches, I was going to the stadium, you know, but I just dropped off. I feel bad right now that we're having this conversation because I just feel like
why did you drop off?
I don't know. Life was just.
If you okay, to your point, so if it was Arsenal, would you drop off? Exactly, would you drop off?
I'm sure you buy tickets to London just to watch it.
I said I was sorry. So
no, but to your point as well, I understand. You explained the whole damn thing, and it makes sense to create the desire, especially when you talk about music, because there was a time when it felt like, or as Africans, we only listen to Usher, we listen to Genuine, and you know, and then now it's Burna Boy makes you proud to be Nigerian, and you know, Wizkid makes you proud. So I guess it makes sense that we just have to figure out the roadmap to making, you know, clubs like Sporting Lagos give us that national.
And
like,
they will,
you know,
they will. It just, these things just take time, and I mean, if you think about it. The global sports economy is 600 billion. 600 billion. This is, it's like, it's serious business. This thing is
Yeah.
serious business. I
Yeah, we're
mean,
missing
we can
out on
talk
the
about
chunk.
from a diplomacy standpoint. We can talk about, I believe is one of the biggest developmental assets. But let's talk about the contribution it can have to the GDP.
Yeah.
I know there's work being done right now to really determine how much sports actually contributes to Nigeria's GDP. I know it's larger than what most people think.
No.
Right? So, and that's where, going back to what we talked about, where it's not as structured as the way we would all like to see it externally. Right?
Yeah.
So you can only imagine what it would become over time, and how can we ensure that Africa, I mean, we're saying 600 billion. Africa has like 1% of that.
Wow.
How do we ensure that we take that 1%,
The whole
like every,
continent has 1%
like
of that.
about
Wow.
1% of
Yeah.
that? Because
Wow.
it's sports is going back to like people are making it's for a long time. And a lot of countries are moving in that direction right now, for sure. A lot of countries are seeing the opportunity sports present, are seeing from a commercialization standpoint, and looking at how can we benefit from that. So a lot of countries are doing that, and I would like to see more do it faster. I would like us to speed it up as well. But the truth of the matter is, a child has to crawl before it walks.
Well,
you can't
of
just say
course.
you were born, start walking.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
of
process.
course, yes.
And I always say you can't cheat the process.
Yeah.
So I believe the work is being, I'm very optimistic that the work is being done.
So I wanted to give a quick shout out to the female rugby team, the Falcons. They they're
Women's
up,
Rugby World Cup, right?
they won their first game.
Nice.
They
Who-
smashed Ireland
Oh,
10-0.
yeah? Wow.
And
Shout
they have Fiji.
Wow.
They have Fiji up next,
Oof.
which
Big game, yeah, big game, big game, big game. I played rugby back in the day, so
Like,
I watched a lot of
yo.
You
rugby.
did?
Yeah, back
I
in
did.
the
I
day,
did.
my mid-20s.
I did for a very small period.
Yeah, likewise,
I played a
likewise.
little flag
Fiji.
football. But so,
Okay.
yeah,
Ah.
so they
Good luck. When's the game?
I don't know. That's the
Okay.
point. So they're still training and all of that. I just want to say shout out to the Falcons. They're doing
And look at that, like
great.
you can think of
Yeah.
any sports, we're in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
I
as-
didn't know we had a female rugby team. I'll be honest. So I was quite ignorant.
I think we're in we're in everything.
Yeah.
Good. They're good.
It just really comes down to, I mean, I'll probably say the storytelling aspect of really getting it out there and sort of being a centralized place
Of
where
course.
So
Yeah.
we have to move, but I wanted to quickly ask, policy wise,
yeah.
how do we get this to the policy conversation point? Because we have some, and it's unfortunate that he's not here. He's the one that's supporting the $1 trillion economy, Ugo Dre. He's the only person I know that supports it. I will still be.
That believes in it.
That believes in it.
We've been asking
Even
you
the math is not my thing.
how are we going to get there?
The math is not
Nigeria.
my
Yeah.
yeah, the math is not my thing.
We'll definitely get there at some point.
At some point.
Eventually.
Wow. I mean, what's your confidence in your country?
No. I think the goal is 2030, $1 trillion.
That's 5 years. So
That's
we have
5
to-
years from
We
now.
have to double every year.
Every year. We can't. So, anyways, because we do know that if we were to double down, find investment into sports,
Yeah.
and sports is wide. There's football, there's rugby, there's tennis, there's
Boxing.
there's
Swimming.
judo, swimming.
Paddle's the new thing.
Paddle's
the
the
new
new
thing. Yeah,
There's so much.
paddle's the new thing.
How do we put this in the mix of everything we're trying to do while we're trying to improve agriculture, manufacturing, finance, banking? How do we put sports in the middle of this conversation?
needs to-
Because I can tell you
Yeah.
that I don't think a lot of the conversation is happening in National Assembly,
Yeah.
where those policies are, at least the laws are being made and then passed down.
It needs to be part of our national agenda. I fundamentally believe that it needs to be taken very seriously. The way you're talking about the banking industry, the way you're talking about agriculture, like sports needs to be in that same category and needs to be spoken about that way. Infrastructure development, that's happening, but the reality is infrastructure does not happen overnight. That's a big part of it. And just say it really needs to be part of our national agenda. Because once it's part of our national agenda, I think there'll be a domino effect.
Yeah. People will plug in.
People will plug into it. So I believe, and I'll say the NSC are doing incredible work right now. There's more to be done. And I hope we get there. I mean, there's a lot of, and you have a lot of, there are many ways in which this can happen, seriously. And that's why I'm like, the easiest way or the quickest way to tackle this, it really has to become part of our national agenda where our president, and it's not just somebody lobbying for it, our president sees this as a major priority. And as in, when we're talking about what are the top 5 sectors we're focused on, it needs to be like top 3.
Oh, wow.
Because it's quite behind everywhere else,
so
right?
You need to push.
So you need to push.
Okay.
Maybe triple or, well, I don't want to get in trouble saying this, but maybe triple whatever investment that goes into it to say that we need to make sure we have the right. And when I say, I'm not talking about, when I say infrastructure, not just the big stadiums. Those are one thing. I'm just saying, how can a kid have access to play sports in their local community?
My son,
like YMCA. Just think about the US. You have a YMCA everywhere. How can the average kid just get access to sports? Like, can we have community centers pop up?
Community centers.
Do you see what I mean? Like, in order for that to be the case, it needs to be a national agenda.
It is a problem.
Sorry?
It is a problem.
Yeah.
So my son isn't into sports. He's very like his dad in terms of my son is a gamer. He wants to be in front of a laptop. He wants to VR. My daughter, on the other hand, she wants to be Messi.
I love that.
She loves football. She's excited about football. But every time I think about, how do I get her to play football? I have to take her to a sports team. I have to go and, I'm thinking about, and when I was growing up, and, we didn't grow up, very comfortable. So where I grew up in, we could just go into the streets and play football.
Why'd you say that very comfortable?
No, we didn't grow up comfortable. I grew up in Mushi. Everybody who knows. And this story is very... So I could go to the streets and play football, and it was okay. And, but I wouldn't allow that. But my point is, if there was at least some community center that was close to home, that you just
walk to.
Yeah, exactly. Because you see that in SA. There are parks in at least in places like Santon. There are parks in every. So, well, I mean, it's funny.
It's a lot of work.
I wanted to ask this, Gbemi. I'm not sure if this was directed at you. You climbed Kilimanjaro.
Yes, I did.
Wow! Wait! Oh wow! See, that's been on my bucket list every year, and I never do. Please.
I guess you guys did your homework.
First of all, why?
No, because there's a 10% survival rate or 10%.
No, that's not true. The survival rate is actually quite high. The survival rate is actually
because I've always said I want to climb Kilimanjaro and then go to Zanzibar and relax.
So many years ago, I made this was a goal I had in like 10 years ago, and I have like I used to have a bucket list. I don't call it a bucket list anymore. I call it a life list.
Okay.
I have a life list of things that I want to do. And climbing Kilimanjaro was one of the things on my list. And, so I'm going to borrow a book from him for this second show. So last year.
The emotional one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, last year, I don't mind sharing. Because I always say that no one is perfect. I'll probably say I had like a little bit of a crisis of faith for me, where my faith is the cornerstone of who I am. I had a little bit of crisis of faith. And I wanted to quiet the world. I mean, people are saying there are so many ways in which you can do that. But so it was 2 things that motivated me to do it. One, I realized that the 10 years was coming up this year. And during my research and speaking to friends who had done it, it was like January is like an ideal time to do it. Then secondly, when I say like, I saw it as I wanted to go on a spiritual pilgrimage. Like I wanted something that would just quiet the noise of the world, and it would just be me and my God, right? I mean, obviously you have other people hiking with you. So I stayed true. I mean, your average person might train up to 3 to 4 months for it. I trained because of my work schedule was brutal. No. I trained for like maybe a month and a half to almost 2 months. A month, I probably say a month. Good training for a month. The other half, I wasn't as, let's say, consistent. But for me, my focus was I can't do altitude training here. So my focus on how do I increase my lung capacity? And I did that through swimming. So I had like a swimming coach for that.
Wow.
I would walk a lot, and I would walk with 15 pounds strapped to my back. So just walking, so getting used to
carrying,
long distance. And what else would I do? Oh, like I was learning how to ride horses, like to perfect riding during that time as well.
Would you have to ride?
No, that was a personal thing for me that I wanted. I was learning during that time. Yeah. So I added it as part of my training.
That was going to be a deal breaker for Arnold.
And then
I can ride.
And then lifting weights. And literally it took 6 days to get to the top.
Yeah.
4 days, honestly, like 4 days, no reception. And that's like somebody said to me when I spoke to someone who I know that has climbed Kilimanjaro, it was like, you're going to get so much clarity about life from this trip that make sure that when you come down, whatever changes in life you want to make from the clarity you get, go ahead and make those changes immediately. And the person was not lying. He was like, you probably have 6 months tops for you to have that full clarity before the noise. Just quickly do it.
Were the changes drastic? Was it like
my changes? I mean, I think the climb defined 2025 for me.
Wow.
Because while I was on the climb, I spent majority of my, I was speaking to the other people I hiked with, but I spent most of the time when I wasn't walking or hiking, I didn't sleep well because it was really cold at night. So like it's below zero, so I couldn't sleep well. So I literally was just praying and listening to sermons like the whole time. At night, I probably maybe go like 2-3 hours max every night. My body just could not sleep because of the cold. Wow. And I came down from Kilimanjaro and I made some very interesting changes.
Interesting. No, that's beautiful.
So sabbatical kind of came out of that.
You want to do it 2018?
Yeah, so it's been on my list every year before my birthday's in June. So every the turn of every new year, I'm like, I'm doing it this year. I'm doing it this year. And I never do it. But I really want to do it. I just have, my birthday comes but it's the 6 days of no shower, no toilets, no. That's the one.
No. There's toilet, but there is no shower.
No shower. Yeah, you're roughhousing it for.
Like you're roughing it out. Where it's like you have like physical wipes. I mean, you can, if I can do, I think you can do. You have wipes. You have. But I would tell you.
I'm so bougie.
Diva, man. No shower.
I would tell you this. Like no, seriously. Like no joke.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things I got from climbing Kilimanjaro was courage.
Wow. So courage in what way? Just to do what you want to do?
Please.
Like
I need to hear that.
Courage where some of the things that scared me, some of the things that I was scared to face, I came down and I just went gangster.
Wow.
Like you just like, you know what? It's the things that did not sit well in my soul, some of the things that were happening, and maybe you would think about it, but you're scared to face it. I came down and it's just like,
let's
do this, right? Like it's almost like I'll bet on my life, I'll bet on myself, I'll bet on God, I'm good, right? But for me, like climbing mountains is sort of that mentor for. It's not the first mountain I've climbed. I think this is probably like number 9 or 10. Like I've traveled.
What other mountains have you climbed?
I've
Everest.
done South. I've done so Everest. I've not done Everest, and I don't think I'll ever do Everest.
Okay.
However, one thing I do want to do, and I found 2 people who want to do it with me, so I'm quite excited, is to do Everest base camp next year.
Oh, okay. The base camp.
So the base camp. So the base camp is not technical to get to the base camp. Whereas if you want to summit to Everest, I mean that's the one that has a low survival rate.
Yeah.
I don't want to gamble.
I was going to ask about the survival rate because one of the things that puts me off is
you could die.
Because 10% of the data is 10% of people who do Kilimanjaro die. Right. I don't know how true this is, but when I Google and I get reminded, and it's like I tend to have bad luck. Right. so I don't want to be that.
Like some people die there.
So the altitude sickness, and then all of a sudden
real.
you just drop.
So that's real.
You just die. 10% of people.
No. So that not just training.
There's no people that train.
I think what you do is, I mean, you never know. One thing we have to know is like you never know how your body's going to react to altitude. You don't know about altitude, how your body will react to it. However, it's part of the reason why we chose the longer trail.
Okay.
So to give your body time to acclimatize to it, right?
Yeah, okay.
So it's not. And let me use an example. Let me use an example of when I've done something where it was a shock to my system. So when I did Montana Machu Picchu. So Machu Picchu, the ruins, there's several mountains around it. So I did one of the mountains around it. So I remember when we flew from Lima to Cusco. So you're going from Lima, which is like almost sea level, to Cusco that was 12,000 above sea level. At night, because you just flew there. So when we got to Cusco, they will give you coca leaf to drink because that helps with altitude. I didn't want to take coca leaf. I didn't want to take anything. And at night, I would struggle with breathing because the altitude was affecting me. Whereas with Kilimanjaro, I didn't feel it at all. Why? I did a couple of things that were different. One, I took altitude pill. Like you have an altitude pill that you're taking. I took that several days before the hike started. Then two, because of the tour guide we have, the tour company we used, and the trail that we selected, is we took our time. So there were some days that even when we're done hiking for the day and we've gotten to campsite, it would say, it's an altitude exercise. So that means that we would leave the camp, we'll go up somewhere, then come down. So you let your body get used to it and you're acclimatized. So because of that, however, with that said, I'm not going to lie to you. I remember day 6, it's pitch black. We start hiking at like 3 a.m. in the morning. 3 a.m. in the morning, ice everywhere.
Wow.
Like I have a video of this thing. It's crazy, it's scary. No, it's beautiful, but it's also scary because I was scared. I won't lie, I was scared. But what broke my heart is, imagine somebody has been doing this for the past 5 days. Then they get to day 6, which is, you're getting close to summit. And maybe you're 10 hours away from summit, then altitude sickness kicks in. They won't let you continue. They'll take you back down.
Oh, wow.
And I saw a couple of people go, my heart just broke for them because I'm like, there's no way. We are going to crawl to this. We're going to crawl to the finish line. So yes, I recommend it to everyone.
So you heard it here first. I'm going to miss one of the episodes next year.
I like that.
I'm going to Kilimanjaro.
And you know what? Our birthdays are 2 weeks apart. So
you guys should do it. I think it would be amazing. I have friends. Actually, it was a friend of mine from my running club who recommended the tour company he used, and he did it with a bunch of his friends. So I think you can do it with a bunch of friends.
Experience together. That's beautiful.
I will. I like the part where you say you came down and there was the fear. I was like, okay.
The clarity.
Yeah.
I need to do that internally. Come down, go
cut some things out of your life.
You're ready though.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow.
Oh my
Amazing.
God.
You guys do your homework. That's cool.
What else have you got? What else has she done?
No, we know a lot of things.
Wow.
All right, so let's quickly touch Arnold. I want to quickly touch oil prices, gold prices. There's the U.S.-China trade deal. I think we have clarity.
He said we have clarity. what is that?
No. So U.S.-China negotiations have been going over the past week, and it's positive.
Yes,
which I always knew to be positive, but
because you always said Trump used this as a negotiating tactic.
But you're also in the markets. The markets have been reddish. They were reddish for like a week and a half ago, right?
Yeah,
but they are recovering.
Down.
It's still down, but it's recovering.
So it's recovering, but
let me check my own
today.
Because he's checking one app right now. Once I see an app with green in it, I know he's part of the cult.
So the Fed just made their decision. Yeah, 7. That's what I was checking.
Okay.
So they, just as expected now, they brought down rates by 0.5%, 50 basis points.
These were the people that told him not to do it.
But not to do
not to cut rates.
In Nigeria or in the US?
Should we replay some tapes here? Because misrepresenting me.
Because we kept saying that the Fed should cut rates. I think we said it in January to cut rates. Was it January? No, it wasn't January. It was early in the year. Cut rates, no. They kind of were stubborn. They didn't cut rates.
Cut rates, it pays those of us.
So 50 basis points is even bigger than the market expected, right? So the market expecting 25 basis points. So
but towards this week,
it's been going up to 50. So it's beautiful. I mean, just to say, I said that.
He's like, let me clarify.
Right. I said that. So for the first time in 40 years, America is now paying more in its debt obligation than it's receiving in investments. For the first time since they had this accord in the 70s. So America has to cut their because they're paying out a lot in there. They really have to cut their debt servicing. So they have to cut. They have to cut, and that's something I emphasized.
I don't think they had an option. Other than to
it was clear, but it was clear to some of us perhaps 6 months ago. Just cut rates.
Cut some more.
You know, just cut rates. But I think it was being edged on by
Mr. Powell.
Yeah, it was. Everybody was just going, as long as, you know, at the time it did feel good if you didn't support the whole stance about the US saying, you know, trade with us on equal terms. So now they've got to the point where they now realize, okay, we've heated the economy too much. Let's release some pressure. So we've got to the point, and why does it matter for Nigeria is, do you want to help?
Yeah, sure. I mean, lower rates means weaker dollar. Weaker dollar means stronger naira. But also, the Senate has just passed that Nigeria can now borrow about $2.3 billion of debt, in a combination of Eurobonds and Sukuk. So what it means is our dollar borrowing costs will now be lower. And we can definitely, and also to foreign investors that want to invest in this Eurobond, it's going to be attractive because now, technically speaking, US debt is now 50 basis points lower. And so if we price our debts higher, then it's more attractive to foreign investors. So if this Eurobond gets issued tomorrow, or gets issued on Friday, or gets issued on Monday, we know that there's going to be some serious subscription because it will be attractive. And our borrowing costs will be cheaper as well for us.
What rates are you guys?
What rates am I looking at? So if you look at the 5 to 10 year tenor right now, it's ranging between maybe 5 to 7%, right? High sevens, or 5 to 8% on the 10 year. I'm looking at the 20 Nigeria 2033 is about 8%, roughly, right? So I think that if Nigeria issues it should issue around 8%. It would get away with it. Angola issued a 10-year 2 weeks ago at 9-point-something%. Nigeria is seen as a slightly more stable Angola. Because Angola and Nigeria sort of have the same issues, sort of have the same profile. They're both oil exporters, oil dependents, both face the same oil thefts and oil evacuation issue going on. Angola, millions per barrel just crossed 1 million million barrels per day. Because of oil theft. So
they've really improved on their own oil sector.
Nigeria they've pushed. No, but Nigeria sort of has. You know, oil. Okay.
I only gave our official report. We have been stable.
I only gave our official report. We've gone from 1.2 to 1.6. Right, officially. This year with the numbers.
But you know, there was a time we used to do over
2 point something. Yeah. So we've struggled.
And that was then. This is now.
That was then. This is now.
So we need to get back there. And then the budget for 2025 actually says 2 million barrels.
Yeah, but that was always unrealistic now. Yeah, that was unrealistic.
They need to, not just spit out.
That was always unrealistic.
Back it up.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm very actually ecstatic about this 50 basis points cut. My favorite asset class, gold.
Oh,
right.
Invested.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually have a gold bar, by the way.
Let me show you my gold.
I think I'm actually going to save up and buy you a gold bar for your birthday. I think
wow, that's a nice friend.
I give it to me on the peak of Kilimanjaro.
I love that.
This show is getting very emotional.
It's very sentimental.
All because of me. You started it.
I know.
You started it.
No, but you triggered me because you were.
We went straight to therapy session.
We went straight. I just sat on my chair. This is what I've been going through.
If you get to see the premium version of today's show, you'll see the Arnold talking about his emotions, and we're almost at the point of tears before I was able to just bring us back to reality.
Oh, it's not that bad.
That's hilarious. It wasn't that bad.
So just quickly talking about markets before, because I don't know. I wanted to I just saw this snuck into some of the stories I have in front of me, and I didn't know about this. Apparently, Dangote Group is reportedly preparing an $800 million investment in Zimbabwe, covering a cement factory, limestone quarry, and a grinding plant, a coal mine, and a power station. All, of course, everything I said after cement factory are all linked to cement. Mm-hmm. The limestone is input for cement, grinding plant, grinding for the limestone, coal mine to power the cement factory, power station, power the cement factory. So basically, you people have told him to de-risk his investment in the economy. But going back to the market, we're in the reds. I'm looking at my
you're in the red.
Are you looking at they looking at your portfolio and saying that red? He's like, we.
There was one green, it just went red. I'm serious, this one.
What are you looking at?
I'm like tempted
it was
to
green,
move.
just went red.
Like
Okay, it's gone back green again, you see? It's green and red. But the markets are fluctuating. Shouldn't this be good news? We've just heard that they cut rates. Shouldn't this affect the markets already?
So sometimes the market doesn't react immediately.
It's only when it's bad news.
No. So it's like this. There's something called market sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The brokers see what everybody is trading. So because they are dropping rates, you expect other currencies to gain against the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
You expect gold to start going back up. Because the cost of gas.
Yeah.
You understand? So when everybody floods the market and you now want to buy gold, they will on purpose sell at that point so that they can offload some of their own portfolio. And then say tomorrow or next week, you see it start coming back up. So what I tell people is you buy in bits. Don't just go.
Just buy a little.
Yes. Don't go.
Yeah, I did say that. That's I think at some place I said that. I said I've just been, it was my strategy, at least for the first part of the year, was just, people say buy the dip. I wasn't just buy the dip. It was just every time I open my phone, I just buy a little. I open my phone, I buy a little. I open my phone, I buy a little.
How much is money?
We're late to this party, so do not look at it like that. We are very late to this party. So when everybody was doing Bitcoin at like Ugodre that entered like sub 1K, I was turning my nose up at him. Yeah. He knows how I felt about crypto.
That's the future.
FX trading futures. He knew how I felt about it. I always used to shout, "No, we cannot support this. We cannot go." And then one day we were talking about it, and I'm like, "I have a crypto portfolio." And he's like, "Eh?"
Like, why? Since when?
Since when? So check the markets. The markets I expect there should be some sort of correction. Wait, correction is the wrong word. What's the opposite of correction? Like when it's going back up. Correction is when it goes down.
Correct.
Correction both ways. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So, guys, how long have we? Okay. I don't understand the sign language, but it's good. It's good. Guys, so I want us to quickly go into before we go into the buy, sell, hold. Oh yes, I did miss this. The Fed's conversation was also here, which is quite good. But also Nigeria's earnings season.
No, that's next week. We're gonna cut this part. That's next week.
I know now. They said we're preparing now. That's so.
Okay.
I'm prepping you for next week.
Ah, okay. Sorry, because I thought you didn't see. Because this is the old. Sorry.
Sorry.
You thought it was protecting.
I don't understand. So, we've already started seeing snippets of their profit accounts, right? Nobody has lost, but they are declaring. Some are declaring. So we're hearing news about lower profits from at least some of the banks.
Okay.
I think we already understand what it is, right?
Yeah.
The forbearance issue, has it come to roost?
Tell us more.
No. I'm asking you now. You're the one that should tell us. So there's an expectation that we wouldn't see as big a profit season as we did. Or am I wrong?
Yeah. You're right. This forbearance is now coming into play, also on the dividend side as well.
So we should not expect much dividends.
Yeah,
coming
100%. 100 from the banks.
The banks,
but there might be some
especially.
dividend surprises from some consumer names.
So are you telling me all the? You know that when central bank did make this statement, there was one particular bank that's not in those exact words, but they said we will pay dividends irrespective.
Yeah.
Do you think they will still pay?
Yeah, but the wording was funny.
Yeah.
Right. It was we will pay dividends, but they didn't specify exactly, not necessarily how much, because they don't always say how much, but yes, what period, whether it was full year or half year or whatever it is, but they left it vague on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So we'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
So guys, let's go straight into buy, sell, hold. I want us to quickly get into that. If you're just watching the show for the first time, buy, sell, hold is simple. Buy means you agree with a question I just asked. Mm-hmm. Sell means you disagree. Hold means you're neutral.
Okay.
There is a holdish buy.
Okay.
I'll try to explain what a holdish buy is. A holdish buy means you buy, you agree, but you're a little on the you're in between hold and buy. You're not exactly buy. There's a sellish buy. There's a sellish hold. The sellish hold.
You're confusing yourself.
No,
Like
there's a
you're
sellish.
confusing yourself.
There's a
What about
holdish
buy,
buy.
So
There's a sellish hold, and there's a holdish buy.
There's a buy
there's a
yourself.
strongly agree.
There's a
an
strongly agree. Aha. There's a strongly agree. Strongly disagree. Aha. Exactly. Aha. Thank you. Thank you.
You made it more formal because
Yeah.
none of us actually put that together.
So let's start with the topic today that really warmed my heart. I saw I was watching YouTube recently, and this person is going around the stadium asking Liverpool fans, what club would you support if you were not supporting Liverpool? And they all said different clubs. And, the non-English people started asking, should it be in England? And they said, no, it could be any club across the world. And the default just went to La Liga clubs. And then maybe one person said a Bundesliga club. Even the Nigerians in the question did the same thing, Buy, sell, hold, within the next 5 years, we would see at least one sporting item. When I mean one sporting item, like a football club, a rugby league club, or a rugby team, something, a football item, a sporting item that we would affiliate with the way we affiliate with musicians like Burna Boy, Davido, Wizkid, in the next 5 years. Buy, sell, hold. I'll start with you. Let me make it better. Let me make it better.
He's like, I don't know.
You know the
He's
way
like,
it is.
no.
You know the way it is. You know the way it is, right? When you go to a new country,
Yeah.
or you go, especially not like UK or the US. Maybe you go to like Thailand, and then the guy asks you, "Where are you from?" And you're like, "Nigeria." It's like, "Hey, Burna Boy."
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always like, "Yeah, right."
I always love that. It gives me so much fun.
So buy, sell, hold.
5 years.
5 years.
I think it's too short.
So yeah, hold.
No. I'm
Yeah,
not
sell.
moved.
He's like, oh, wow.
Wow.
He's like, I never know.
He's a
Wait,
selling self.
wait, to refer. So you're saying that a local team.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a local team. Any sporting item
From
It
Nigeria.
could be
The basketball
It could
player,
be the
football
E1.
player.
It
or-
could be the basketball.
Could be associated
thing.
with
It could-
Nigeria.
that we would be associated with at that same level
No.
that we're associated with our musicians. Our top 5.
No. So he's yourself.
He's self.
Strongly
He's
disagree.
Wow.
He's a strong
Yeah,
self.
so-
Strongly disagree.
It's too short. I think the time
short.
period is too short.
5 years.
Yes.
Yeah, 5 years or 2030. So a lot can happen in 5 years, no? A lot can happen. So I mean, let me say that. So I don't follow any football or I don't know Arsenal, Chelsea. I don't
It doesn't
follow
have
football.
to be. Maybe
doesn't.
even
But I'm
golf.
just-
Maybe
yeah.
even golf. You follow golf. You
Yeah,
play
yeah,
golf.
I try. Yeah, no, but I'm actually a strong buy on this. Yeah, I'm a strong buy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been
Just
to
the
a
same way
few.
South Africa has the rugby team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they called?
A cricket.
Springboks.
Springboks.
Yeah,
Rugby
the Springboks.
or-
So the way South Africa has the Springboks,
Yeah, I think-
and it's a national identity.
Yeah, so I think it will most likely be football from what I'm seeing. Although golf is
But we're not going to
interesting.
World Cup.
As in, we're not. No, but it's a local football team. A local football team.
Oh yeah, local
Right,
football
yeah,
team.
local football team.
Local football team.
You know, I went to
Sporting
the
Lagos, I'm
Nigeria
coming
Cup.
back. I'm going to pay my subscription tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm a buy.
I mean,
Shaz don't show.
strong
Yeah,
buy.
just be a buy.
No. And I
Just be
say
a buy.
it's strong buy because if I say I don't believe,
Yeah.
then what's the
Yeah.
I mean, we
point?
just let it out.
So I think I say strong buy because there are a lot of interesting things happening within the sporting ecosystem in Nigeria, and it's just about the right investment and the right people getting behind it, and it's only a matter of time. So I think to your point, 5 years is a short time, but we're talking about 2030. A lot can happen in 5 years.
Yeah.
I can even see because he didn't say that it becomes from a profitability standpoint or whatever.
Just
He's not
national,
saying any of that.
yeah.
Just saying that something that's positioned in a way where it becomes a thing of national pride.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely buy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
I'll double down.
By the way, speaking of the Springboks, one rugby team that gets me emotional every time is the Blacks.
Yeah, the All Blacks.
When they're doing the haka, it's
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
It's absolute
And so,
insanity.
now look at that. That's part of their national identity.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It's emotional.
No, the what do they call it? New Zealand.
Yeah, it's emotional.
New Zealand's rugby team.
Yeah, but it's like their war cry. They do it in
Yeah.
celebration.
Yeah, the
They do
haka.
it in-
Yeah, by the way, that's
So
the
is
reason. I have
it
a
a New
full
Zealand
sleeve
thing? I thought it's
tattoo.
like a
It's the,
Thai kind of.
No, it's New Zealand.
Samoan.
Yeah.
Samoan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the entire sleeve tattoo
Okay.
of it because it just catches me. It kills me. I'm telling you.
Do we have anything similar?
Do we have?
Yeah, like a war cry.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You could feel the
I
raw
mean, Christianity
emotion.
is taking it from us. So.
Yeah.
Used to have-
You said
used to have
what?
something.
You said-
So next-
Oh wow!
They came and
Wait,
they
that is
said,
yeah, no.
close your eyes, let's pray.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
another
god! All right, so second buy sell hold. Talking about Aliko.
Yeah.
I think this is an easy one, but I think we're going to buy sell hold. Aliko starts to move upper stream, move away from investing in Nigeria into other parts of the African continent.
Yeah,
Buy, sell, hold.
Buy. Strongly,
Yeah.
strongly.
Yeah. Bye.
You didn't answer the first one though for yourself. National pride,
Yeah,
sporting
sports.
events or sports or
Oh, yeah, I did indirectly by saying I was going to, resume my membership with Sporting
okay.
Lagos because Sporting Lagos for me is the closest thing to that.
yeah.
For the simple reason, and this is another thing where you see that the country misses out on trends. I'm glad that we've caught the Dirty December trend and we're riding on it.
Yeah,
But
sports could be something else, yeah.
Sporting Lagos came from non-league to the Premier League.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got promoted every year. They got promoted every year. And that was a story that we didn't tell.
Okay.
That was a story we didn't capture as a country. And they got people like me to go to the stadium.
Yeah.
Arnold, I'm not even joking. As in, I don't know what will carry me to the stadium. They got me to the stadium and I was comfortable. You know, we're cheering.
Yeah.
You know, it was a thing. It's a proper thing.
And to what I said earlier, and it's the reason why I look at them and I say they're a great case study.
Yeah.
They're really a great case study. And I believe a lot of the learnings, yes, football is different from boxing or whatever, but I believe that there's so many learnings that are exportable and can be utilized, that are transferable to other sports from what they've done. But going back to what we talked about earlier, and just driving home the point of you have the right investment, you have the right people behind it. You'll be amazed. Look at how long it's taken Sporting Lagos to do what they've done. So in 5 years, you get the right people, you get the right investment, so much can happen.
So much can happen. So much can happen. So, Arnold, you've not said buy, sell, hold, Aliko continues.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening right now, right? So he's in Ethiopia, he's in Zimbabwe, he's in Ghana. I think Ghana got announced. Yeah, so buy.
I think maybe what I should have asked is that
will it be in all countries?
Or maybe we'll start diversifying out of Nigeria, because I mean, if he's doing fertilizer in Nigeria, he's going to plant the biggest one in Africa somewhere else. He's doing cement in Nigeria. He's going to Zimbabwe to plant. He's doing petrol downstream here. Probably going to plant it somewhere else. After a while, just tells you, my people.
The reason why I don't, he's someone who has such pride for Nigeria that I don't see that happening. Like, I mean, at least from what I see, he cares a lot about Nigeria. He cares a lot about the country. He cares about the development of the country. And so I don't see that happening.
I agree. Because with the kind of resources at his disposal and the kind of economic influence he has, he could literally do many other things than doing what he's doing. It almost feels like he's stressing himself. Like, guy, you just chill. but he's doing things that you like, you're not hustling in this life. Why are you still doing this thing?
Why are you stressing yourself?
Why are you stressing? You know why you're stressing yourself. Anyways, for the last buy, sell, hold, I want to talk to this, us getting off this grey list. And I wanted to ask, buy, sell, hold. Next dirty December.
And when you say next, as in this coming
No, this one.
The next.
This
next
one
year.
is too close. It's already here.
Okay.
It's already here.
So 2026.
Right? So 2026, 30 December. We see not just an influx of people coming in, we would have seen a massive influx of investment dollars into the country of record amounts.
What
just off.
So when you say investment, can you classify that? Is it like high value investment or just any?
Oh, okay. So yeah, you have a point there. So let's start at the low value. Let's start at the low value, the foreign portfolio investors. Let's start with those ones.
Easy.
Bye.
I think even before then, right? I'm not sure if it's off this list, but ArtX is next week. Right. And
I've never gone to one.
You should.
Really?
So you get foreign buyers. So one thing about Nigerian arts.
These are the things that Mushin boys don't go to. I will go to this one if they will
go to this one. Get the tickets. It's like 10K. Yeah. Okay, maybe 20 or 40.
I'll sort that ticket for you.
Yeah.
I think it's important for everyone to experience it.
Yeah. Because art is not.
Will come out.
I think that maybe Hollywood or whatever, maybe people feel like art is for certain, but art is arts, right?
It's accessible to everybody.
Nigerian art is one of the most beautiful expressions in the world, right? And ArtX is our way of displaying it to the world, and it's open. And I know so many people from Morocco, from London, from Ghana that are actually flying in for ArtX, and they'll buy art. They'll buy our arts. And if you talk about foreign investors, they're coming in to invest in our art and our local artists.
And it's your 10th year anniversary, so I think this is a really
huge. And it's next weekend. Next weekend. So please support our artists.
Okay, I'm in Lagos.
I think it's like kudos to them. Such an incredible platform that they've created. And one of the things I really love is they've made, to your point, sort of demystified the whole idea of artists for a certain group of people. They've made it very accessible. Like anybody can buy a ticket online, and it's very, very, very affordable. That anybody can buy a ticket online and go in there and sort of experience it and get a chance to see. Yes, you see artworks made by Nigerian artists, but you get the opportunity to see artists from other parts of Africa as well. So I highly, whenever you see people doing things that puts us on the map and puts us on the map for
the right reason.
Not just, I don't want to use like, it's not a right or wrong reason, but it's a thing of going back to a thing of pride.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never forget when I was in, I think it was 2 years ago, I was randomly, I was at a cafe in Paris, and a woman was sitting next to me. She was by herself, and I was on my computer doing some work. And she just struck up a conversation with me based on I was wearing like a coat by a Nigerian designer, and she struck up a conversation based on the coat. And I was like, I'm Nigerian. She was like, oh my gosh. She was like, oh, I love Nigeria. I had such a great time. And it's like, oh, do you have friends in Nigeria? She's like, no, she went for Artex. I was like, wow, that was amazing. And she was like, you know what? She's like, it's become one of those things that it's now on her regular art calendar of things to visit. So whenever you see us doing things like that, which is we're putting our country on the map in a way where we're being recognized for who we are.
Yeah.
This is our identity.
Yeah.
You know, to me that
So two things.
great to see.
ArtX and Sporting
Sporting
Lagos.
Yeah.
Doing two of them. And be like, yes, this show has been brought to you by all kinds of emotions. We felt national pride.
Yeah.
We felt emotional upliftment. We grew.
Yes.
We got more in touch with ourselves.
Okay.
We had plans to climb Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. So thanks guys for being on the show. It was a great show. It was a great time having you. I'm pleased you came. The hoops and the that we had to do to get you here. I'm glad we had you.
No,
come.
I'm glad. So, I mean, you didn't have to go through hoops. I mean, to address that, the only reason is like, I really have been on a sabbatical and literally that deliberate pause and to just rest and chill. So I really haven't allowed myself to do
a lot of
much.
things,
but
so.
you guys, you knew who to call to get me to do it. And I'm really glad.
We are resourceful. We're resourceful.
And I'm really glad that I was here.
We got him. We sent a plane to get him into the country. We do things like that. That's what Drinks and Wax should do. Even though the plane is a national carrier.
National identity.
All right, guys. So you guys were drinking water. I don't understand.
We're on a sabbatical.
Wow. Anyways, it's still Drinks and Bikes, guys. Do not forget Spotify. If I saw somebody comment under the last edition and said, YouTube, you've lost me. I'm now with Spotify. So if you have not checked out Drinks and Bikes on Spotify, please go and check it out. The entire second season is on Spotify, so you can go and check it out. Well, Apple Music soon. I don't know who's working on that, but very, very, very soon. All right, guys.
All right, cheers. Cheers. Water. Sorry. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good one, guys.